In our last session, we discussed about menstrual cycle. Today, we'll be discussing fertilization and implantation. So, let us start with the topic fertilization. Okay. So, now, how this fertilization takes place? During copulation, which is otherwise known as coitus. Okay. So, during this coitus, penis releases semen into the vagina of a female. Okay. So, what is this semen contains? The semen contains seminal plasma plus sperm. Now, this sperm swims up to the ampulla of a oviduct through cervix and uterus. Okay, so what is the site of fertilization? The site of fertilization is ampulla. Okay, very important, children, because if you are following the old NCERT book, it is written that ampullary ischemic region. Even in some reference book also it is given ampullary ischemic region. So if you will write in the exam, it will be wrong. You are not going to get any mark. So you strictly follow your new NCERT textbook where it is written ampulla of oviduct where the fertilization takes place. Now let me show you that with the help of a diagram. I will show you. Suppose say this is the female reproductive. I am just doing the rough diagram. Okay. Just to remind you. So, okay. So this is the vagina. This is cervix. Then uterus. This is infundibulum, and here are the two ovaries. Okay. This is infundibulum. Then this middle portion is ampulla and this is isthmus. Okay. So now what happens when the sperm is released into the vagina? Semen. The semen is released through the penis into the vagina. And from the vagina, the sperm swims up to the ampulla. So, it reaches the ampulla, and simultaneously if the egg is also released and that reaches the ampulla at the same time. Okay, so suppose this is the sperm and this is the ovum, then there is a chance of fertilization. Okay, so now you know that in one ejaculation 200 to 300 million sperms are released. Okay, out of which 60% must have normal shape and size, and out of which 40% must have vigorous motility. So now I think you are clear why vigorous motility is required, because the sperm has to reach from the vagina of to a distance place, that is ampulla. Okay, so the sperm swims in the female reproductive fluid and reaches the ampullary region where the fertilization takes place. Okay, now I have told you that when both egg and the sperm reaches the ampulla, then only fertilization takes place. And this is the reason that why not all copulation leads to fertilization and pregnancy. So this is a very very important question, children. So why all copulation do not lead to fertilization and pregnancy? Okay, the reason is that fertilization can take place only when the sperm and the ovum reach the ampulla simultaneously. Very, 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 very important. More often, this question is asked and you have to write this answer. Okay. Now, as I have said you that the sperm has reached up to the ampulla. Now, the egg at the same time, the ovary must release the ovum, that is ovulation. So, suppose this is ovary, and what is ovulation? And this is the Graafian follicle. This is the release of ovum. So, now on the 14th day of menstrual cycle, the Graafian follicle ruptures and the egg is, or the you can say the ovum is released from the ovary in secondary oocyte stage. This is very very important, children. Secondary oocyte stage में ये release होता है, and this is called ovulation. Okay. Now, when this ovulation takes place, let me show you the structure of Graafian follicle. Suppose this is the Graafian follicle, and these are the two layers of the Graafian follicle, and uh, here is the secondary oocyte. Okay, the secondary oocyte is surrounded by a membrane that is called zona pellucida, and which is surrounded by layers of cells called corona radiata. Okay, now when the egg is released from the ovary, this let me show you. So this is the ovum. Ovum means what? The secondary oocyte. The secondary oocyte has the plasma membrane. So this out the covering. This is plasma membrane. Then this layer is zona pellucida, and it is surrounded by when the Graafian follicle is ruptured and the ovum is released. Some of the cells of corona radiata are also attached with this ovum. Okay, clear? I think it is clear to you. So now at the ampullary region, the sperm, let me change the color. So the sperm, not a single sperm, a number of sperm try to reach the ovum. Okay. Now can you say which sperm will reach the, which sperm will fertilize the ovum? I have shown you 3 sperms. So which sperm will fertilize the ovum? Of course this one. Okay. So this one will fertilize the ovum. Okay. Why? Because this sperm has reached the zona pellucida first, and they are about to reach. This sperm is about to reach, but it has already reached. Okay. So when the sperm reaches the zona pellucida, it causes some disturbances in the zona pellucida. ये जो जोना पेलुसिडा लेयर में कुछ डिस्टर्बेंस क्रिएट करता है, and that blocks the entry of other sperms. So what happens when the sperm comes in contact with the zona pellucida? It causes some changes in the zona pellucida layer, and also the membrane, that is egg membrane, which blocks the entry of other sperms. So when one sperm, you can see that this sperm has reached and it has touched the zona pellucida. So some changes takes place in the zona pellucida and in this membrane. So also in the plasma membrane, and this blocks the entry of these two sperms. Okay, and this is the reason why, this is the reason how polyspermy is prevented. Polyspermy means fertilization of ovum by more than one sperm. That means more than one sperm will penetrate into the or enter into the ovum. That is called polyspermy. So the polyspermy is prevented when one sperm comes in contact with the ovum and zona pellucida, and it causes some changes that prevents the all other sperms to enter into the it. Now the sperm which has come in contact with this one, contact with the zona pellucida. Okay, so now what happens? The sperm in contact with the zona pellucida secretes some hydrolytic enzymes by its acrosome. You know that the sperm structure is like this. This is the head, and this is the middle piece, and this is the tail. So at the anterior part of the head, there is a portion that is known as acrosome, and this acrosome contains the hydrolytic enzyme. As soon as the sperm comes in contact with the zona pellucida, it digests the egg membrane. So now what happens? The enzyme digests the egg membrane locally, means where it is in contact with the egg membrane. Okay, that portion will be digested, and this leads to some changes, induces some changes in the egg cytoplasm. Egg means here what? Secondary oocyte. Egg cytoplasm. Okay, and now what happens? The second meiosis, or you can say the meiosis 2 is completed. Okay, so you know that the secondary oocyte was arrested at metaphase 2. So now the meiosis, it releases from the metaphase 2 and completes the meiosis. Meiosis 2 is completed, and this meiosis 2 is an unequal division, and because of this unequal division, it forms small polar body and the large ovum. So now here I want to make you clear one thing. This is the egg. Okay, now when the sperm comes, the sperm releases, the acrosome releases the hydrolytic enzymes. Now this membrane is ruptured here in this portion. Okay, so here it is ruptured. Now this sperm will release its nucleus. It releases its nucleus into the egg cell or secondary oocyte. This is secondary oocyte. So the secondary oocyte, what here, see here, remember one thing. The secondary oocyte was arrested at metaphase 2 and it was released. Okay, so now this is the nucleus of the egg or the secondary oocyte. So this is egg nucleus, which has not yet completed the metaphase 2. So now this egg nucleus, the nucleus will divide. It will undergo meiosis 2, not the cell, complete cell. Okay. Now this meiosis 2, it forms the polar body and the egg nucleus. This is the larger nucleus and this is smaller nucleus. Now after division, this is the egg, then here this is the sperm. So here is the polar body and here is the nucleus of the egg that has completed the metaphase 2 and here is the spore nucleus. Okay. Now this spore nucleus fuses with the egg. So this is egg nucleus. This is polar body and this is the sperm nucleus. And this fusion of sperm nucleus and the egg nucleus. Now both egg nucleus and sperm nucleus are present in the ovum or the egg. Now they will fuse this egg nucleus and the sperm nucleus and they form the zygote. Now the sperm was haploid. Egg was also haploid. Now the zygote is diploid. Okay, so this process is called fertilization. Done. Now what happens after zygote? After the formation of the zygote, where this zygote is formed? The zygote is formed in the ampulla. It was formed in the ampulla. Now this zygote moves towards the uterus and during this movement it undergoes certain changes. It undergoes divisions, then differentiations. So now the zygote undergoes mitotic division and moves through the isthmus. Isthmus means the last portion of the oviduct. Okay, isthmus, and this process, the whole process is called cleavage. Okay, this I'm sorry. Okay, this is cleavage. So now as the cleavage continues, so suppose this is zygote first, all the divisions are mitosis. Okay, it becomes 2-celled, then it is 4-celled, like this it becomes 8-celled. Okay, so this is 2-celled, 4-celled, this is 8-celled. Like this it forms many cells and these cells are known as blastomeres. Very, very important. What are blastomeres? The daughter cells. So what are blastomeres? The daughter cells produced during cleavage of zygote. जाइगोट का जब क्लीवेज होता है तब जो डॉटर सेल बनते हैं उसको हम बोलते हैं blastomeres. Okay, and now this develops into the embryo. The embryo with 8 to 16 cell stage is called morula. So this is 8 cell, now it will become 16 cell. So 8 to 16 celled embryo is called morula. It is called morula. Okay. Now this morula divides continuously to form 32 cell blastula or blastocyst. Okay. Now this blastocyst, in a blastocyst, suppose this is the structure of a blastocyst. In a blastocyst, the cells are arranged as a outer layer this is called trophoblast. This is called trophoblast, and it has a cavity that is known as blastocele. This is called blastocele, and here is the mass of tissue this is called inner cell mass. Okay. Now this trophoblast layer, the trophoblast layer gets attached to uh, the uterus has three lining. The innermost lining is endometrium, so it attaches to the, now the embryo has reached up to the uterus, so now it is attached to the endometrium, and after attachment the inner cell mass differentiates into embryo. So only the inner cell mass differentiates into the embryo. But what is the role of trophoblast? The trophoblast, as I have said you, the trophoblast, after the attachment of trophoblast, the endometrial lining, you can say the uterine cell divides rapidly and covers the blastocyst. So now the blastocyst is implanted. The blastocyst is embedded in the endometrium. So this process is called implantation. Okay. So this is all about the fertilization and implantation, and once the embryo is implanted, it leads to pregnancy. Okay, so let me give you the whole process schematically. So first is fertilization. In fertilization, what happens? The sperm, this is sperm, and here is the ovum, or you can say the secondary oocyte. Both of them reach the ampulla. Okay, now the sperm which comes in contact with the zona pellucida first brings changes in it and prevents polyspermy. Okay, then sperm releases its nucleus into the egg cytoplasm. Next, the secondary oocyte completes the meiosis II, which is unequal and forms small second polar body and large egg nucleus. Okay, now the egg nucleus and the sperm nucleus fuse, and this process is called fertilization. So after fertilization, zygote is formed. So this is about your fertilization. ये पूरा प्रोसेस को मैंने आपको स्कीमेटिकली दे दिया है. अगर आपको फर्टिलाइजेशन 3 मार्क्स का क्वेश्चन पूछा जाता है तो यू कैन राइट दिस वे. ओके, नाउ कम टू इम्प्लांटेशन. अभी इम्प्लांटेशन में हम लिखेंगे it starts with the zygote. Zygote undergoes mitosis, that is called cleavage. Okay, and this is first forms 2-celled, then 4-celled, then 8-celled, then it is 16-celled. This 8 to 16 cell stage this is called morula. Morula undergoes mitosis to form blastula. blastula has 32 cells. Okay, now this blastula has a outer trophoblast layer and inner cell mass. Okay, now this outer trophoblast layer attaches to uterine wall. Uterine wall divides rapidly and covers the blastocyst. Now the blastocyst is embedded in the endometrium. And by that time, what happens to the inner cell mass? It differentiates to form embryo. Okay, now both of these process together leads to pregnancy. So this is the complete process of implantation. अगर आपको एग्जाम में implantation पूछा जाता है तो you can start from here. यहाँ से आप शुरू कर सकते हो. ठीक है, the 32 celled blastula up to this one. Schematically you can give like this. Okay, now often a diagrammatic representation of the development of embryo in the female reproductive tract is asked. So for that you can follow the diagram 2.11. Okay, so let me draw and explain. Okay, so on one side only I am showing you. Very simple way you can draw this diagram. This is the ovary, and from the ovary the egg has reached along with zona pellucida, and here the sperm has also reached. Okay, now the sperm and the egg are fertilized. So this is fertilization. I'm sorry, I should not show the sperm here. Okay, fertilization, this is the ampulla. Okay, after fertilization what is formed? This is zygote. The zygote then forms two cell stage. This is isthmus. Okay, then it forms four cell stage. Okay, then it forms 8 cell stage. Okay, this is 2 celled, 4 celled, 8 celled. This is morula. After morula it becomes the blastula. This is blastula. So here this is inner, this is blastocyst, blastocyst. Now once it comes to the uterus, now this blastocysts gets embedded in the uterine wall. Okay, now the uterine cell divides and it covers the blastocyst. So in the blastocyst stage, it is implantation. This is implantation. So this is how the development of the egg takes place in the female reproductive tract. So in exam, what you have to do, if this question is asked, you can take a the full page and draw the diagram, one side diagram of the female reproductive system, and you show all the stages as I have shown you. My picture is not clear here, but इतना सुंदर मैं नहीं बना सकती हूँ. तो आप क्या करोगे, आप ये जो सारा स्टेज है ना जैसे जैसे लिखती गई हो, लाइक दिस यू हैव टू डू इट. जैसे आपके बुक में दिया है ना ABCD करके पिक्चर अलग से दे दिया, फिर उसको दिखा दिया रिप्रोडक्टिव सिस्टम में, रिप्रोडक्टिव ट्रैक्ट में छोटा छोटा करके. सो नो नीड टू डू दैट. 2 बार करने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. सिंपली यू डू इट इन द रिप्रोडक्टिव सिस्टम इटसेल्फ, जैसे मैंने बनाया है. बट आप थोड़ा ये जो 2 सेल 4 सेल 8 सेल है, ये थोड़ा क्लियर आप दिखा देना. देन ब्लास्टोसिस्ट में यू जस्ट लेवल इट ट्रोफोब्लास्ट, and this is inner cell mass. Okay, so that's all for today's session. I hope it is very much clear to you, and so many tricky question may be asked from this topic. Okay, so in next session we'll be discussing pregnancy and embryonic development, and that will be the last part of your of this chapter. So thank you very much.